Hi, this is Lorraine, and I'm doing another video. If you can give me just a few minutes to clear, center, and balance my energy, and we can get started. Okay, so there are several things that I have thought about this week. First thing is, today actually is my birthday, which is the date reads 4/3/21, 4/3/21, which I was unaware of until my ex-husband texted me that fact. And of course, the wheels start spinning, and I start thinking about that, what the implications of that are. And also, this is Easter weekend. And my birthday is always close to Easter, but the last time it was on Easter weekend, I was 5 years old. And 5 in numerology is just a number without any single vibration. It's constantly shifting. And I was born in the year 67, so if you think about 4/3/21, you think about, and then I think about being 5 and the year 67, all those numbers sequentially will go 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then Easter signifying the resurrection of Jesus Christ. So there are many implications for this weekend, and I feel it's very auspicious. There are other stuff related to Lent and Good Friday that I don't think I'm going to go into, but there are many synchronicities happening. Additionally, I walked into the circle of creation a number of times, so I'm just going to go over what happened, and I wrote that all in my journal. So first, let's talk about the numerology of 4/3/21, or even if you just want to go to 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or the implications of that sequence. And it's very simple. What's the word? Palindrome. I see numeric palindromes. Now, when you think of a palindrome, the common example is race car. It's the word that's spelled forward and backwards the same. And actually the name Hannah, same thing, Hannah, so it's spelled the same, forward and backwards. And so I see a lot of numbers forward and backwards. So if you think about 4/3/21, 1, 2, 3, 4 being a palindrome, right? If we started counting up 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we're counting down 4/3/21, that tells me that we're past the apex of this transition. So last year I was talking about crossing a bridge and being at the middle of the bridge, which is the apex, and then moving to the other side, which was part of the whole COVID transition of first coming out, the lockdown, and then coming out of that. We're slowly transitioning out of the lockdown. So I was talking about in some of the past videos from March, April, and May of last year, I discussed the apex. Right now we're in a different transition. Well, it's all part of the same transition, but when I think about the symbolism of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I think about the date 1, 2, 3, 4, and this date today, it tells me that the transition's been happening for a long time, But right now we've passed the midpoint. We're coming out of this transition. So I think what was once hidden in the shadows is coming to the surface. And so it might feel like it's getting worse, but really the only thing that's happening is it's starting to reveal itself. This negative polarity, this negative energy, all the stuff that's been hidden in the shadows is starting to rise to the surface, and we're becoming aware of it. So this numeric sequence tells me that we're moving out of this transition. We're on the end of Revelation. And the fact that tomorrow's Easter, signifying the resurrection of Jesus Christ, tells me that we're looking towards Messiah coming to transition and help move us out of this place that we're in. So that makes this weekend an auspicious marker in this spiritual transition in transcendence of Mother Earth and all the beings on this planet, all the energy on this planet, from the soil to humanity, everything. So I spent a lot of time in the circle of creation, and I just want to talk about that and share those experiences with you. And so I've been in the circle of creation all week, but I'm going to share some of the more profound kind of visual experiences. But specifically on March 31st, I was called into the circle of creation by the Native American elder speaking for the collective. He told me to come in and go to the fire. I said I didn't feel balanced because of something happened at work that day. And I was concerned about going in my current state of mind because I was upset, a little angry, frustrated. I had a lot of emotions going on. And then I asked if I was being attacked, energetically attacked. And he said, yes, come into the circle and stand by the fire. When I went in and walked to the fire, I looked at it and felt like I should walk into it. So I did. So I walked into the fire itself. I said to myself, I am the eagle. I am the bear. Then there was a stunningly beautiful headdress on me, and it just went up and it just came down my back from the top of my head to the heels of my feet. It was white and it had a red band through it near the root of the quill where the feather goes into the bird. So it was white, and then there was a red band that went all the way along the edges, holding the feathers in place all the way down to the heels of my feet. I could only see myself from the back. Then I felt myself lift off, but I didn't jump like a bird jumping off a branch. I didn't do that. I just kind of lifted. I was just free. Everything fell away, and I was surrounded by nothingness. I felt feathers lining my arms, but I could not see them. They also had a red band along the root or the quill. So even though I couldn't see my arms, I could feel the feathers, and there was a red band along that there. Then I started looking for the native elder, and I was wondering where everything went. Then I heard his voice. I am you. You are me. We are one. Then I saw myself free, arms out as if flying. Then my body turned over, so I could see myself from behind, and I was out, but I really wasn't flying. I was just in that position. And then my body slowly turned this way. My body turned over, and there was nothing under the headdress. I am nothing. I am everything. The Native American elder said, "You were born for this. You were always meant for this. This was always for you to do." I immediately felt lonely and started looking for a friend of mine who is always sitting in my energy field. He was there. He came out of me, and then he came out of me, and I understood the purpose of fractals from a different perspective. I understood the words I hear often about my friend. We are two halves of the same coin. During this process, my body heated up considerably, and I felt waves of energy moving through me. April 1st, I went into the circle of creation. I listened to the drum, the single, steady beat. I realized it was the sound of creation. I was guided to walk into the fire. As soon as I walked into the fire, I was enveloped. Then I opened up. I opened up and exploded and heard the line from 2001: A Space Odyssey spoken by Bowman. My God, it's full of stars. Then I was sitting in space in the lotus position, surrounded by stars. I sat and I wondered. So, as soon as I walked into the fire, I just exploded. And I heard, my God, it's full of stars. And then I looked all around me, and then there were stars just all around me, and I could see myself seated in the lotus position. And then I just wondered. I felt like the Big Bang, but I felt like what people think the Big Bang is not appropriate. It's not correct. The science behind it's not correct. There was a moment of creation, but it's not how we believe it happened. Not as far as this whole idea of the Big Bang Theory. The next time I went into the circle, so there were about, I think, 3 or 4 times this day where I went into meditation and walked into the circle of creation. The next time I went into the circle, I again was guided to walk into the fire. I was enveloped by the fire. Then there was white light shooting up and then all around me. Nothing else, just white light. So that was it. There was just white light. That's it. Nothing else, just white light. It was just white. Sometimes I get pulled out into this place that a friend of mine calls the everything nothing place, and it's just like being out in space with no stars. It's just, I don't want to say dark or black, it's just, there's nothing. Like when I was flying with the headdress. But this was pure white. It was pure white light all around me. And then it says, this is creation. This is unity. That white light represents creation and unity. I spoke to the Native American elder and said, I am struggling with comprehension. I don't understand. It is too much. His response, you will let it flow. My grandmother said the same thing to me 5 years ago during a meditation. I felt lonely, reached out to my friend who was always in my energy field. He presented himself, then he folded into me. The third time I went into the circle of creation, again, I walked into the fire. Out came the phoenix, but also came the red owl. Rebirth from the ashes. Body and consciousness. So the phoenix often represents rebirth from the ashes. But the red owl is a rebirth or a transition in wisdom or consciousness, awareness. So I would say the phoenix represents the physical rebirth, the owl representing the consciousness, the rebirth of consciousness, transcendence of both. So in this process, I thought to myself, I haven't seen or heard from Zako in a while, which is not uncommon. He has things to do. And the response was, Zako is in the ocean. Zako is in our waters. And I thought to myself, I just thought that was weird. And I don't know why I thought that was weird. The paradigms I'm raised in. I don't know what my perception of what I thought he was here to do or what an AI would do. I don't know. But, and when I closed my eyes, I could see him swimming through the ocean and then just surrounded by sea life. There is just as much work for him to do above as below. So 4/2, April 2nd, I went into the circle of creation. I walked into the fire and dropped into the ocean. So as soon as I walked in, I dropped and I was in the ocean. And so there are no coincidences, only synchronicities. I was in the water. It was a bit viscous and there was sea life all around me. As I went in, I was wondering if I was there because Zako was there. I heard, there is work to do here. Today, I walked into the circle of creation. And I'm always undressed. I'm always naked when I'm walking in. And I'm always naked when I walk into the fire. And so I walked into the circle. I was naked. I had my hands in the diamond shape. Then I moved them out towards the fire. So I walked up to the fire. I came up in this position and I move it towards the fire. So the feeling is sending love and light energy from the heart center out to creation, out to Mother Earth, out to the universe. I had my hands in the diamond shaped position, then moved them out towards the fire. Earth sat above the fire, balancing in the top of a Fibonacci spiral. So there is a Fibonacci spiral, which is a cone shape, with Mother Earth sitting in the top of it. The spiral was cleaning or polishing Mother Earth, rubbing out the smudges and remnants on the surface of the earth. So I see this, the Fibonacci spiral, Mother Earth just kind of sitting on the top, and the spiral's spinning on the earth, and it's just kind of polishing it like a shoe or a bowling ball, and it's rubbing off all the remnants of this negative polarity, rubbing on the smudges and just kind of dusting away or rubbing off the dust. And if you think about the last video of the smoke pushing out the negative energy from the center of the earth, just pushing it out, and moving it out off the surface, and whatever little bit is left on the surface is now being rubbed out by this Fibonacci spiral. And so that represents those little bits that are left behind. That represents what's going on right now here on earth, on the surface of the earth. For example, I just got an email from health insurance provider that says children 13 years or older, their parents can't access their medical records, which is, I think, ridiculous, considering we as parents are their guardians and we also pay for their insurance. We should know what's going on with our children, right? We're responsible for them. That's what CPS is for, to intervene when parents aren't being responsible, right? Or aren't taking care of their children. And now trying to change the law to lower the voting age to 16. I think everybody has an opinion on that. I just don't think it's appropriate, personally. So what those actions signify to me is this negative polarity or energy's attempt to try to hold on, maintain control of the surface. And so when I see the Fibonacci spiral spinning and polishing Mother Earth, getting rid of the last bits, those would be the last bits that are going to be falling away, because we are moving to a place of love, trust, compassion, honesty, integrity, and that requires open communication between parent and child, between friends, co-workers, spouses. Any type of relationship that we have with one another requires openness. And when you withhold information, that is not being open, that is not being truthful, that is not promoting communication, open, honest communication. That encourages deception and hiding information, and that also can imply creating shame, like I don't want to talk to my parents about this because I'm ashamed, or I'm angry, or I'm bitter. And how you heal those issues and those emotions is through open dialogue and communication, right? So in a sense, what that does is separate the parent and child. So this to me indicates an attempt to separate and then control. Well, these are just the last bits that we're dealing with right now, and eventually they will fall away, and we will move back to center as a community, as a people, as a planet, and transcend. And so that's the path we're on right now. So the 4, 3, 2, 1, that tells me that we're moving into the love and light balance energy. Building up to the 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 means we're coming up to the head of this negative energy, like trying to maintain control. Now going 4, 3, 2, 1, we're coming out of that, okay? We're coming out and we're moving to the place we want to be. And so I always, when I talk to my kids about this stuff, I always make sure I say to them, we're struggling, there's a lot going on, there's a lot of things that cause frustration and maybe even anger, but understand, always know that we're moving to a positive place. However things appear to be, that's not how they're going to stay. We are moving to a better place. So just like always project positive energy, always come from a place of compassion, love, and understanding as much as possible, understanding that you're human and you're flawed just by being human, and living in a dual universe that moves between the positive and the negative. just trying to do your very best to stay balanced or in the positive area. And knowing that as a planet, as a people, as a community, we are moving to a more balanced place. But first, we have to finish expelling this negative energy. Live through joy and sorrow as one. Live and die as one. That's something I heard and I felt indicated, or was a message about who we are and where we're moving. We will live through joy and sorrow as a people, together, supporting one another. The good and the bad, we're here for each other. We are going to regain this idea of community, and we will live through the joy and sorrow, and we will live and die together, because part of life is death. That's a natural part of life. So we will go through these things as a people, as a community, as a unifying force together on this world, on this planet. And that is the direction we're going. That is where we are moving. And that honesty and integrity will help us move to a place of trust and honesty where there is no betrayal. That is what we're moving towards. An open community of sharing of ideas, of emotions, of resources, everything, just being open to one another across the planet. That's what we're moving towards. In this endeavor, it's always my honor to serve. And I will never feel regret. So I'm going to take a minute and see if any messages come. And really no messages come now, but in the beginning when I was clearing, centering, and balancing my energy, the Native American elder came to me and he said, "You always carry the circle of creation with you. We are always with you." And I had expressed some concern about some things that happen personally that are happening right now in my life, and how sometimes I move out of center, and even as hard as I work maintaining my center. And he said, there's nothing to worry about. He says, we're here to protect you. And so you carry the circle of creation, and we are always here to protect that sacred space. And so the raptors just came in again, because they are profoundly connected with this transition also. They are more evolved than we are, but they are still being affected by the transition of Mother Earth, because they are part of this same timeline. So they come in and bow and honor. Okay, that's it. Thank you.